We have a lot to talk about together today, guys. Number one, we're going to talk about how YouTube is beginning to moderate the relationship you have with your YouTube network. Number two, we're going to talk about how YouTube is restructuring the ad revenue split that they have with your YouTube network and how some of that money might spill over to you. We'll talk about that. Also, if you want to be like number one ranked on Google for like anything really easily, we're going to show you guys how to do that, as well as how Vice came to have 3.5 million subscribers, give you some secrets and tips that they have revealed about their channel. All that and then lots more is coming up. Hey guys, my name is Tim Schmoyer and it's Tuesday. It means it's time to look at some online video news from last week and talk about the implications it has for us as creators. First of all, let's talk about what YouTube is changing now with your relationship with your YouTube network if you happen to be in one. It's no secret that some of those relationships have been going sour and it's kind of been leaving a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of creators. A lot of people are getting screwed over by like really long contracts and not really feeling like they're getting much value out of it in return. And so YouTube is cracking down. They're saying, hey, there's a couple guidelines we have for all of our multi-channel networks here on YouTube, and we're going to enforce that you guys stick with these. YouTube has 5 guidelines, starting with ad value. You should not simply aggregate channels in order to obtain advertising revenue without providing a service in return. MCN services should include dedicating partner management, tools and technology, production facilities, promotion, channel optimization, advertising sales support, and or other services. Number 2, they're also supposed to communicate with their partners, and that includes keeping their partners up to date with YouTube policies and practices, giving those channels visibility into their performance and their revenues, and making sure that those creator partners have a point of contact with someone in the organization. Number 3, they're supposed to affiliate themselves with other channels responsibly, and basically what that means is, hey, you actually have to talk to them. You can't just aggregate them through like 1-click signups and 2-click signups or whatever. Like, you actually have to build a relationship with their creator. Number 4, YouTube expects multi-channel networks to be fair to their creators and not signing them into long-term one-sided agreements. And number 5, YouTube asks these companies to also be honest and transparent about the services that they actually offer and don't offer. Don't over-represent yourself of what you can do for the channel when really, in all reality, you're really not going to actually be able to deliver the value that you're proposing. But because so many YouTube networks have been violating a lot of those guidelines, as a lot of you guys have probably experienced, going forward, YouTube says that now partners will be grouped into 2 different categories with multi-channel networks, either as a partner or as an affiliate. As a partner, everything will pretty much stay the same as we already know it about the relationship between the YouTube channel and its YouTube network, except for the network now has added pressure and responsibility to enforce copyright violations and infringements and stay on top of all that. If the network has too much copyright infringement going on its network, it risks possibly losing its status as a network on YouTube completely. But being an affiliate with the YouTube network is something new that YouTube is now introducing, and basically that lets you as a creator still take money off of the ad revenue. Like if there's a network that you kind of want to affiliate yourself with and you want them to run their ads on your stuff rather than just you taking YouTube's because you think like that network can get a higher CPM and thus you make more money, like you can still affiliate yourself with them, but they don't take any responsibility for any copyright infringement. If anything happens, that is still all on you. And as an affiliate, you also get a link in your YouTube channel settings that lets you begin the process of severing your relationship with your YouTube network if you feel like you're not getting the value from them or you feel like they're breaching their contract with you. It's not like cookie cutter, like as soon as you click it, like you're severed, but at least it gives YouTube some idea of like how many people are actually leaving this network and why is this network like losing so many of their partner channels, like what value are they not offering, and it kind of gets YouTube like a little bit more ears in the process to kind of moderate what's happening, and it also gives them the ability to step into the process and help you sever ties with your YouTube network and get your AdSense account back from them without going through lots of lawsuits and things that as we've seen in the past. Now personally here at Video Creators, I am not signed with the YouTube network, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. One, because I haven't really been convinced that the value that they propose to me is value that I actually need. 2, they don't actually propose anything that will help me get closer to my goals of what I'm trying to accomplish with this channel of helping you guys change lives. And 3, I've heard too many horror stories from you guys and other people about what has happened in your relationship with YouTube and with your YouTube networks, and some of you guys love your networks and that's awesome. Some of you guys hate it and wish you had never signed up, and some of you guys just indifferent, like like I signed up and didn't really notice any difference at all. It was just kind of a wash. What I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below is if you are with a YouTube network, one, what network is it? And two, what has your experience been like with that network? Now, if it's been negative, this is not an opportunity for you to just like rail against them and bash on them, but be like open and honest with us at the same time. And if you aren't signed with a YouTube network and you're like me, you're just independent, partnered just directly with YouTube, tell us why you've chosen to go that route as well. So while all of this seems like YouTube is really cracking down on multi-channel networks, they're also kind of cutting them a deal which says that after you reach a certain point, like any ads that you sell above and beyond that, you get to keep 100% of the earnings. Now, typically the way it would work is that a multi-channel network could sell like an infinite number of ads and bring in like tons and billions of dollars of revenue, and YouTube would always take about 45% of that no matter how much they brought in. But now that's changing, and YouTube is saying we will still take 45% up to this certain amount, and then after that amount, which I'm assuming is different for different networks depending on how many channels you have and what your ad sales team is like and different factors like that, they're saying after you hit a certain amount, you get to keep 100%. Now, what I would love to see is if, like, with all that additional revenue now that MCMs don't have to split with YouTube, if they would now take that and give that to you guys as their partners, right? Now, obviously, I have no idea how they would use that extra money or how much extra money that would actually add up to, like in reality, but it would be nice to think that maybe some of that might float into your pockets somehow. Let me give you guys 3 really quick links that are all down there below, so go check these out. The first one is on moz.com, and it talks about how to rank on the first page of Google for pretty much anything using Google+. Real briefly, the way it works is that you might make a video and it ranks in Google and maybe down on page like 100, like really far. But let's say someone searches Google for something somewhat related to that video and they have circled you on Google+, and because you shared that video on Google+, now that video is like on the first page of results for that user just because they are following you on Google+. Or maybe you're not even the person who posted it on Google+, but you got an influencer of someone else who posted that on Google+, and then that person has a follower who is searching for something somewhat related to your video, and because they are following someone on Google+ that posted your video, like boom, up to the top of the search results, your video goes. So you can see how it's becoming more and more important for you to develop your audience at Google+. You don't necessarily have to post a lot of content there or even get a lot of interaction, but just getting people to circle you or getting people who do have lots of people circling them to share your content there. But it's interesting that this doesn't seem to be related only to Google+, but it also, like if you're using Gmail and you have been emailing with someone back and forth, that there has been like a reciprocal dialogue over email with someone, and that person that goes to Google and then searches for something, like your video will be more likely to like rank higher in search just because you've had an email correspondence with that person. So now even using like Gmail and actually writing back to the people who contact you there, like could influence how someone finds your content in search, because they feel like Google feels like if you have some sort of interaction, whether it's on Google+ or in Gmail, that like someone has an invested interest then in you, and thereby your content might be more valuable to them than just the normal search results. Now the article does point out that this seems to be time sensitive, so that if you share something on Google+, it kind of will only rank for them for like a month or 2, maybe less. They're not really sure, but it just says like if you want to be really found for something, you have like a large audience on Google+, then it makes sense to continually make content talking about the same subject matter, so you're always showing up in search results for that topic. If being discovered in search is important to you, I definitely recommend you click the link in the description text below this video. Go watch the entire video that they're explaining this. Is about 7 minutes long. Definitely worth your time. Also, let's talk about how Vice came to have 3.5 million subscribers, racking up a monthly watch time of 150 million minutes with 20 million views per month. How did they do it? Well, there's an article from Google. It gives a case study about their channel, and the main point that I found is really interesting that I want to highlight for you guys is that originally Vice came to YouTube trying to make YouTube content that they felt would fit here, which is short form, really short, engaging, interactive type of videos, and they just weren't really working. And so what Vice said, you know, let's go back to what we're really good at, which is actually, for what they do, is like really the opposite of what typically works well on YouTube, which they started making longer form content of like videos that are like 20 minutes each, and making documentaries on tons of different things. And what this article points out is that once Vice made that that switched and stopped trying to cater to what they felt YouTube wanted and started doing what they did best, their content and their channel then really started to take off. And the article shares exactly what happened and how they got featured here and how they started like showing up on different websites and all that kind of stuff. It outlines their process in more detail. But main point that I want to share with you guys is do what you do well, not just what you think will do well on YouTube. And finally, the last link down there is from YouTube themselves. So if you are in Canada, they're asking you to fill out a form and say, hey, we want to teach you guys how to collab, and we even want to put some of you guys together, do some video collaborations to help grow your channels, but we want to pick some of the best ideas and some of the best channels and see if we can mix and match you up. So this is for Canadians only. So if you are in Canada, or Canada as you might like to say, there's a link in the description text below where you can go do that. I hope this has all been helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. If this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe. Every week we do exactly what you just saw with looking at online video news and talking about the implications it has for us as creators. On Wednesdays, I give you guys some YouTube tips, advice, ideas, suggestions, and then on Thursdays, we do some YouTube Q&A, answering questions that you guys have about the content that you are making, the channels that you're growing, and the messages that you are spreading, because I really believe that you guys have messages that could really change people's lives and make this world a better place for a lot of people if those people can only hear what you have to say. So thank you for letting me be a part of you guys growing your channels and spreading your message and your influence. Subscribe, and I will see you guys again tomorrow.